Uber is in the spotlight as the company faces accusations from a Belgian newspaper that it can see riders' phone battery levels and changes rider fares based off of that information. Yahoo Finance's Pras Subramanian is here with all the details. Pras, and when I saw this, I just thought this is so wacky.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting story. Is it sort of Uber being back to being Uber again, right? Those bad days back in the past. But basically, like you said, they've been accused of looking at battery levels of their users when they're searching for trips, identical trips. So a Belgian newspaper, this is a small study, a Belgian newspaper did it. They had two identical phones charging the same trip, and the one with the lower battery got a 6% higher charge for the same trip, right? So that's the sort of the assertion from the paper. Now Uber denies it, and they said that, quote, Uber does not take into account the phone's battery level to calculate the price of a trip. But it's kind of interesting if they are, right? Because it's sort of a thing that they would possibly do because, clearly if you're low on battery, maybe you would be more inclined to take a trip if you need to go somewhere. In fact, Uber back in 2016 said they actually had data that showed that people were more likely to spend money on a price surge trip if they have low battery levels. So it's there. It's sort of nefarious. Would they do it? Wouldn't surprise me back in the Travis Kalanick days, but now it seems a little bit beyond the pale.
So it's basically that it's like, oh, you're in more higher demand now. You want this more desperately, so we're going to charge you more.
Yeah, because you're saying my battery might die. I need a trip wherever I am. I'll pay more for it, right? That's the assertion.
And two phones that are been studied. Just two.
They had two phones, one with I think 80% charge, one with something like 13% charge. We had the full screen up just now, and they both clicked on the same time for the same trip, identical trip, and the one with the lesser battery charge had a 6% higher fare.
Now, to be fair to Uber also, though, I mean, when you go, or at least, I don't know, when you go to book a trip, and I book some of them from my place to my mom's place, sometimes for my mom, and it's always slightly different. I mean, you're never really getting the exact same fare.
Yeah, I mean, because there's hundreds of people probably doing in New York City at a certain time where our office is, for instance, hundreds of people are charging or looking for trips, various parts of the city. It's always going to be dynamically changing. So they can say, hey, look, 6% is not that much of a difference, even though it's identical time, phones in the same area, it's taking into account all the drivers and the phones in the area. So that's why there's a slight discrepancy. But it is interesting that they do have data for it, and it wouldn't surprise me if there's a way to extract a bit more value, some profit out of the same trip. Why not do it?
Pras Subramanian, this is one of those talkers for sure.